The hard road, it certainly is. I'm catching up on messages, so I have this window, taking a break from the petition name signatures. And I want to do this for everybody, for all the foolish Canadians, absolutely everybody in Canada, the 51st state, Alberta, 51st state, Quebec, 51st staters, and Alberta independents. I've tagged a number of people in this, and it's all over baseball. And Venezuela defeating USA on that stage. Folks, Donald J. Trump hits hockey, hits it hard, not because that's the bread and butter of America, but because it's the bread and butter of Canada in sports. Likewise for Venezuela, every Canadian should know this, baseball is their bread and butter. When it comes to America, if you want to get a reaction through sports, it's football. NFL, number one sport in the United States of America. 42% of Americans identify with football as their national sport. We're not talking soccer, we're talking football. Then it goes to basketball, then it goes to baseball. Those are the top three. And then in fourth place, teetering into fifth place sometimes, is hockey, NHL. Everything about Canada is vested in NHL. Likewise with Venezuela into baseball. Canada got hammered. USA won the gold. Now we see Venezuela, who's starting to reclaim what they were 20 some odd years ago. Thanks to the United States of America, money's flowing, the regime is changing, people have learned a valuable lesson. And Trump throws out, just 2 days ago, Venezuela, the 51st state. That is a direct smash on Canada. And people are asking about it, so I'm going to do the video. It's not that that's where Venezuela is going, but it could go. It's more to send a message to, I know, as the former leader of Alberta Independence Party, ran in the 2019 election, did not get an effectual, and now they're going for a referendum question. They can't finish the signatures. They've had to start going back and apologizing to Alberta 51st staters, asking them, please help us complete the signature drive so they can have the referendum. Folks, I've already stated, and I told you the day would come when I had to present my formula. We're now at the middle of March, less than 20% mathematically, if they're successful by the end of April, which I think is their final showing. I think May 1st will be it. April 30th, May 1st, they have to have that signature drive of just 179,000. If you don't know, the We Want to Stay in Canada crowd, led by PCs, they got 450,000 signatures quite easily in a lot less time. I gave a mathematical formula. If we hit the end of April and they're just getting that in or struggling to make their minimum signature drive, it's under 10% is what I've kind of told everybody, 8 to 10%. I was called every radical name, you're an idiot, you're blah, 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 even though I'm the only Canadian in the entire history of Canada to present a majority for independence outside of Quebec. Yeah, I did that on a political platform in the Anglo provinces. Only Canadian to ever do such. I hold that record. Nobody's even remotely come close to matching that record I did in 2019. Mission impossible. Majority MLA candidates. We were larger than the Liberal Party of Alberta. With all that being said, folks, we are going the hard way. Alberta's going the hard way. Should not have slapped the mouth and faces of the 51st staters, as that was Donald J. Trump's only offer to Canada, and Alberta separatists said, no, we don't need any America. Piss off, America. Well, all your oil, everybody. If Venezuela became the 51st state of the United States of America, absolutely all of WCS and CS Canadian Select oil, 4.5 million barrels a day, that's keeping Canada afloat, a lot like everybody criticizes Russia over, that keeps the Canadian economy afloat. It represents 33% of your GDP. If Donald J. Trump and Venezuela came out as the 51st state, Canada is no longer required at all in any energy needs from the United States of America. I am very sorry for all the delusional conservatives, mentally ill liberals, delusional conservatives, mentally ill liberals, but your country, your first world status that's totally in jeopardy right now, all developed nations, top 10, the G7, then there's a G20. Well, there's a 10-nation consortium of central banks between the two that determine the viability of CAD, Canadian currency. Mark Carney, your loving central banker, he's the best. He'll save Canada. Is about to get extremely devalued. I can tell you those 10 majors, USA's there, China's there, others are there from the G7, and Brazil. Brazil beats Canada, sorry to say. And they're all saying Canada is in too much radical decline, economic decline. Folks, this isn't a secret. It's everywhere but out in Canada, because Canadians have to eat the propaganda. We are in a very, very bad way. And if Donald J. Trump were to make Venezuela the 51st state, immediately Canadians, you lose 33% of your GDP. Loop, Louisiana, Illinois no longer needs you. Illinois and Loop, Louisiana, Texas, they no longer need you. None of the northwestern states need you. Michigan, out east, they don't need you anymore. Zero, zip, zilch. None. USA goes, bye Alberta, bye Western Canada. We don't need you anymore. You thought our system of processing for your crude, your sour, your sweet, your viscosity, you thought we developed that for you? You're just lucky. You're very, very lucky that you match Venezuela, because we built it for that long before you. Long before you. And it's only because Venezuela, socialist and fascist cuckoo, known like Whigs and Tories, or better words for Canadian, conservative, liberal, yeah. Radicals like that in Venezuela, who bit off more than they could chew, started dissing America. We're gonna tell you how it is. You need us. Goodbye, Venezuela. Okay, Canada and others. Canada got a lion's share. No problem. Okay. A really aggressive premier named Ralph Klein. Yeah. He came and said, hey, we make those grades. Here's our geologists. Here's our experts. We can replace that, Venezuela. You don't need that kind of abuse. That's where Canada's been for well over 22 years, come on, 23 years. Canadians appreciate nothing. They, like the Venezuelans, 23 years ago. Fuck America, fuck you. We hate America. You know what we'll do to you? America says, okay, cool. Okay, we won't process your shit anymore. We'll return to Venezuela. In fact, Trump says, hey, you want to slap me in the face? You want to slap Congress, committees, highest level of the Democrats and Republicans? No problem. You can blame me for everything. I'm President Trump of the United States. Go ahead. Elbows up me all you want. States are all learning. They're shifting gears. And Trump's delivering on a silver platter. What do you think happens when they land Cuba? What do you think happens when Iran's finished? Who is next? Again, I gave you the Michigan truth. Who do you think is next? Is it China or Canada? Who would you pick? If you were the United States, who is more effectual? Canada or China? Well, obviously Canada, because you cripple Canada, and that's the end of China. How do you cripple Canada? Well, Canada was given a beautiful gift, an offer made by President of the United States, never ever done in 250 years, ever recorded. A tremendous showing of any president ever. How did Canada respond? Right in his face. Oh yeah. What? You think Venezuela's tough? We'll double down on Venezuela. Shoot at the consulate. Kill Americans. Die, America, die. It's all going to end with Trump, right? Well, that's what your politicians told you. It's all Trump. Just get rid of Trump. Everything will be great and wonderful. Especially if a Democrat's elected. Folks, if you don't know American history, American politics, none of those reports go away. In fact, presidents will follow suit with every other president. They always do. Until they get things resolved. Canada's done so. Venezuela is going to go back to where it was. And you better pray. You better go to bed at night tonight and pray USA doesn't just say, fuck the rest of the world, especially Canada, and make a deal with Russia too. Because if you haven't been paying attention, Venezuela, Iran, now Russia. If any of these things get cemented, absolutely, in some kind of treaty and trade pact, Canada's over. And I mean, I don't see a viable path forward other than begging on our hands and knees because we're in absolute poverty. If you haven't noticed the latest job sheds, they're massive and they're going to continue. Mark Carney, again, the top 10 central banks of the world say Mark Carney is delusional, mentally ill, if he thinks he's going to go forward the way he is because the economy is not responding. You're living off the debt load and servitude of your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, betting that your life now is more important than all the years they're ever going to have. That's you and me as a Canadian today. I don't know about you, but I got children I love very much. I hope that they have rich, wonderful lives. And the last thing I want to do is leave them in a world with no resources, no hope, and no first-class system, first world system, leaving them in a second or third world state. What kind of human being does that to their own children? That's the question I put on Canadians in their elbows up. Another thing I want to talk about, I've gotten a lot of lunatic and radical conservative liberals. They're the same thing as far as I'm concerned now. I'm seeing it with a lot of conservatives. Trump's a piece of shit. Oil, the war, look what he did. Folks, I'm going to tell you about the Middle East. I have family, close childhood friends who made a life of that. I have family members who've been all through the Middle East in their careers, far outpacing anything I ever did in business and in that corporate world. And I can tell you what they all say. When you go to those Middle East countries, do you think the government goes, oh, USA started a war, you're going to have to pay at the pumps. It's going to be 40% more at the pumps. No, they never pay anything more than what it costs them to take it out of the ground domestically. They don't pay any more than that. Gas in most Middle Eastern countries is pennies on the dollar. Yeah. But yet in Canada they say, Trump created a war, it's his fault that we have to tax you 62% on all your fuel. Yeah, oil and fuel, natural gas, heat, we're going to tax 62% of it is the direct cost of the government. And we will not yield. We will never give any of that to any of you. In fact, we're making more money than we ever made before. We're sending it all over the world and enriching ourselves. You're going to blame Donald Trump for your gas prices in Canada when right now the most expensive state of the Union is still only $3.62 a gallon. Do you know what that means in liters and dollars and cents? I can tell you in Ontario here, Alberta, $1.52, $1.61. They're still 40 cents cheaper a liter than you are in the most expensive U.S. state. Explain it to me, Canadians. You got a $20 discount on your oil. What in the holy fisted fiddler's fuck are you thinking? It's Trump bad. Well, why are all Americans paying much less than you are at a much higher cost of WTI. It's $20 a barrel more than what your government's getting for yours. So why are you paying record amounts more? Oh yeah, because the government of Canada and all the provinces are fucking you the hardest. You, the domestic Canadian. They're not going to lower your inflation. And they got you so fooled that they're raping you, that Donald J. Trump is somehow raping you for war. Why do you rely on USA to set your prices, set your government's taxation against you? Because I can tell you right now, all the governments of the provinces and the federal government are making hand over fist, and still their economy's falling into the floor. Does socialism work? Does massive taxation without representation work? I'm conservative liberal. You're a fool. You're a low-life, despicable, degenerate. You're the majority of Canada, liberal, conservative. This is for the piece of shit Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre tagged in this video. How you lie, manipulate, and every loser fuck premier in Canada, all provinces, all territories. They're the largest source of your energy and food and housing insecurity, aka your major basic needs to live your life. You know, like America says, the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. There's none of that in fucking Canada. Canadians go, my crown loves me. Donald Trump fault, not my government. I don't remember COVID-19. I don't remember $1.85 a liter for 3 years. I don't remember it. That's different. That's... Give me another shot. Give me another one. What restrictions can I do today? How many businesses can we bankrupt? This is the sad state of Canadians in massive majority. Anyone who supports Mark Carney's Liberals or Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives, you're a fucking moron. You're a destructive force to my children. You are the real enemy in front of us right now in the world today. You are killing my children, all the Canadian children today and those yet to come. You're murdering them like genocidal maniacs. Brain damaged, brain dead, institutionalized, programmed. You're the enemies today. Not Donald J. Trump. Not United States. You motherfuckers. All of y'all. That's my video. Share, share, share. It's up to you to get it out there. Hit as many as you can. It's okay. I know a lot of you are. And it's funny, I see the comments. Get to the point. I make my point many times in every video. But these cuck suckers. They suck the cuck off. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's that bad. Put it in this guy right in the rear end. Let me lick it off. I hate to be grotesque, but I don't know how else to get the point across. They're murdering the children of today and all of those tomorrow. Completely destroying this country beyond any redemption. And if Donald J. Trump sees these deals through, if it were a Venezuela 51st state, goodbye Canada. You will march your ass to what Venezuela just was for decades and decades. You will be liquefied, frozen carcasses in a bankrupted Arctic nation. Fact, not fiction. If you think that old pervert, Charles, and any of his world are coming to save you, those scavenger pieces of shit will pick at all the bones, the meat off the bones, to get everything they can get from USA dissolving any trade relationship with Canada. Be afraid. You should all be afraid. It can be much, much worse when you don't take Canada the 51st state. And these are absolute open source threats on the hard road to Canada the 51st state. A road many people don't come back from. Retirements ruined. Lives lost. Generations lost. Truth. Truth. Matched in American history. Undeniable. But go ahead. You want to drag it out 12 years? 85 years? There's fucking retards who've done that. They've done that. America is patient. America is patient. The Constitution goes on. Excuse me. 250 years this year. And it's never been broken, never been beaten, never lost. Everybody else loses. That's my truth. That's my video. Critical video. I know the language isn't for everybody, but I don't know how else to push this along at this level, so far into it, when so many Canadians refuse to see the light. And we have literally slowed down, snail pace, hit a wall, and Canadians think, well, Donald Trump will be gone, everything's going to be glorious. America don't change because they change presidents. They don't change. They were going this road. It's always been there. You listen too much to the media. God bless everybody. That's my video. Share. Get it out there. Super critical. Bye now.